You're listening to the Shipyard Cat Podcast, the unofficial SAFC podcast for fans everywhere.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the pod. I'm your host Adam, and we're here today to discuss the up-and-coming fixture against Crystal Palace. Joining me tonight to discuss this, we've got Kev and we've got Robin. How are we doing tonight, Kev?
Yeah, all good, mate. Looking forward to a home game. Feels like it's been months since we played at the Stadium of Light, but yeah, looking forward to the weekend.
Definitely. And likewise, how are you today, Robin?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I mean, obviously, it's been a long 2 weeks since the last Stadium of Light game. But, obviously, I went to Everton last week and, so on. So, I've had my football fix, a bit sooner than what Kev has and yourself.
Yeah, indeed. Let's get into it straight away then. Obviously, in the reverse fixture, it finished 0-0, which was a very hard-earned point for us. And we said at the time it was a big point due to the fact being of the level that Palace are playing. Obviously, in recent times, Palace haven't been performing to their best, shall we say, this season so far. Obviously, got recently beaten in the Cup by Mansfield, which, to me, serves the right for playing pretty much an under-25 team.
Was that Macclesfield, you mean, Adam?
Macclesfield, sorry. Mansfield knocked out Sheffield United, sorry.
The Wilder obsession continues.
Well,
Yes,
look, it started with an M and a field at the end of it.
Exactly, thanks. Get there and eventually. But yes, obviously they're not playing the best football, lads. We know that, but still, we can't write them off when it comes to Crystal Palace. There is still a team to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to say, obviously, I'm going to correct you then.
Within the first 30 seconds.
When we were chatting in the chat earlier on and you went, who was going to host it, I actually did write some notes up, but obviously you clearly didn't and just decided to host yourself anyway.
Exactly. So, do I ever write any notes? Nope.
No, look, Palace haven't been in the best of form lately. However, they have got 10 first-team players missing. Obviously, they've had some at the AFCON as well. I think one's still there. Sarr, he's still over there. He won't be back. Obviously, there's talk of Mark Gahey possibly going sooner rather than later. The thing is, though, his mind's not going to be in the right place to me. I think if they've decided that they're going to get rid of him and get some money, like I sort of hope we would with Dan Neil. That's another subject there, but I just think that, with the uncertainty around him and obviously as well that you've got to think Oliver Glasner, he's out of contract in the summer as well. He's clearly not going to sign another one. There's some big clubs wanting him. You just look at the situation at Man United currently. They've appointed an interim until the end of the season because they know that come the summer, there's going to be people available. Whether or not it's, Glasner. I think the Brighton manager's out of contract. Was it Marco Silva at Fulham as well? Mm-hmm. Plus, obviously, those after the World Cup and international duty. Man United's clearly got a plan in place for it, and I think it's creating a lot of uncertainty around that Palace team. Is Thursday nights in the conference too much for them? Because they've really dropped off in form considering what they were at the start of the season. And just going back before I let Kev speak, it was quite early doors we played them. Sort of like in September, and it was before all their sort of, travels and so on started, really, when everyone was still fresh and they had a full squad that was fit. So, yeah, we're playing a different Palace this time. However, they're still going to be dangerous.
Couldn't put it better myself, to be fair, mate. Well said. Palace are a team that obviously last year won the FA Cup, okay, yeah, they went out for first go this year, but they are a good side. They've got a lot of talent, but like Robin said, a lot of those players are attracting a lot of interest. Juventus are now looking at Mateta. That's going to potentially play on the player's mind. Who's in the ground? Who's watching? Who's where? I know they're at our place, but there'll still be people watching that game, watching him if he features. Um, yeah, Glasner's contract's out at the end of the season, and he said, "I'm not renewing." So he's probably got one eye on the market himself in terms of where could I go. Obviously, I'm not saying he's going to go to Spain, but there's a recent vacancy opened up over there. I know there's temporary managers, interim managers here, there, and everywhere. Talk Sport this afternoon, Andy Goldstein was saying about, you know, who's going to go in after Carrick at United. Glasner's probably a good candidate for that.
Mhm.
Do they try and pull, the Villa manager in, and that then leaves a spot at Villa. That it's the dominoes effect, isn't it? One goes, one moves, and it changes things. So for us, it's kind of let's just have a good crack at them, see what we can come out of this game with. For me, we need the 3 points to see where we end up, kind of re-establishing ourselves a little bit, if that makes sense. And then not that we've not that we've dropped drastically, do you know what I mean? But obviously mid-table when we've been sitting 7 and above, fans want us to try and get back up there to kind of basically put relegation thoughts completely out of our minds. Because it is still mathematically possible. But, we're here to be positive, and I can't see it happening. So, yeah, I just want us to have a good result and obviously keep that Stadium of Light momentum going, because, home form is the key thing this season. Every club says if your home form's good, you'll do okay. And then it's just getting your away form better to help kind of bolster the points.
No, you've hit the nail on the head. That's pretty much what Regis is pretty much saying every single time, isn't it? It's that magic number 40 that he still wants to get to. That is still the main goal for the club to get to. Obviously, where we finish is going to be where we finish, but he obviously wants to set in stone those magic points. Going into home form, obviously that's the biggest thing because obviously we're still undefeated at the Stadium of Light. Do we think we just need to do what we do best, Robin? Get the crowd from minute one, get right behind the lads, cheer every tackle, cheer every single motion of the lads. And obviously we've got the good news of obviously some of the AFCON lads are back. So obviously we've got Ronaldo's back now. Obviously we've already had Siddiqui back, which is good. But we're starting to slowly get them back. Obviously we know we don't have a Diarra, who obviously unfortunately made the final, but he got himself his second yellow, so he obviously got suspended for the final, but he'll still be there obviously with the team. And likewise, Talby's going to be over with Morocco in the final. So great plaudits to them too for getting there. It is a big achievement for both young lads, but we're going to have some back. Do we think that's going to be a good stent for us going back, that we've got majority back?
Look, it's massive. I mean, not being funny, I know you say you got the majority back. We technically, in a way, we haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Talby and obviously Diarra are still out there, and obviously Masuaku, which never really featured, and Bertrand Traore have come back injured, and going to be out for I think it's 3 to 4 weeks for Traore and up to 6 weeks for Masuaku. Which, let's face it, he was probably going to go out the door anyway.
Yeah.
I think it was talk tonight. Was it standard Liège? But we want the club to pay his full wages, and they don't want to. So things like that. I mean, yeah, obviously Siddiqui back in. It's Ronaldo's the big one to me. Getting him back. That's the real thing, because it gives us other options. Obviously, look, Dennis Serkin's been brilliant, and I think it'd be harsh on Dennis if he's not playing. But he has come back from a long, long layoff, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And he's played, quite a bit of football in a short space of time. So it might be a case of resting him, You know, obviously, there's talk today of Patterson going out the door.
Yeah.
You know, obviously Millwall. Talking to a few of the lads I know who are Millwall supporters, obviously near work and stuff. They're really excited at the prospect of getting him. You know, so I mean, I hope for Pato's sake it's on.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of it, for his development, he might be better off staying and playing second fiddle with Robin Russ, because what Russ has done, as well as his shot saving, which Patterson is a good shot saver, you know, he's very good at that. What lets Patterson down was always commanding his box and his distribution. Whereas with Robin Russ, we've got a keeper who comes out and catches 90% of the balls that are in the area. And again, with his distribution, he's probably up there hitting 95% plus of his passes accurately. Whereas probably Patterson was probably less than 50% on his long balls. You know, and crosses, I mean, you'd think he was Dracula. So, yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a catch-22 for him. Obviously, he wants to play football. Goalkeepers are a different breed. They want to play. Nobody wants to sit on the bench. You know, every single goalkeeper wants to play every single game. So, I mean, it's a tough one. You know, will Simon Moore come in as the number 2? Probably. You know, Matt Young's there available. I don't know if there's any recall in his clause at Salford or not, whether or not to bring him back. But I think it's one of those things, for the sake of the player, I think we might let Pato go. You know, but I say he's not played a lot, but I mean, I'm going on a proper tangent there, aren't I? About
I was going to
the
say that was a
goalkeeper
proper tangent for
situation,
me just talking about
considering this started with Ronaldo and Sirkin.
it
Yeah,
makes
I
talk about the
mean,
crowd.
yeah, look, it's good to have him back. You know, obviously the team's now looking a lot stronger than what it was a few weeks back. Put it that way.
Yeah,
I think in terms of the players coming back, you know, you're absolutely spot on. Yes, some of them are back, but like you say, Masuaku's not really featured. So if he now decides to leave in the window, kind of nothing lost, nothing gained. But I'm just disappointed in you, Robin, for you pronouncing the name. I was hoping Adam would muller it, but never mind. Um, no, I think if we get him gone, and I think the hold up from what I've seen on social is we're asking the club looking to get him to pay the wages, and they're stuttering and stalling. Well, that either means we're paying him too much, or they don't think he's worth the money. So yeah, for me, it's one of those where if he's not featuring, let him go. And I think that was a great segue into Patterson. If he's not playing and he wants to get first team football, let him go get some football. For me, the big one is Dan Neil. He wants football. You can see he's not happy. He's not signing a new contract. So it's just a case of, do we try and force someone to take him now and get a little bit of money? Or are we going to end up in a John McLaughlin situation where he signs himself somewhere free and in the summer goes, thanks for that, and off he goes on a free? But it's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Palace.
yeah. Well, moving on to Palace, then obviously we've touched on their danger weapons. Obviously, up top they've got Mateta, and obviously he's a player that's in form. It's fair to say. Obviously, I think they've still got is it 3 or 4 Robins still over in AFCON, or rested, shall we say, because they've only recently came back.
No, I say it's just Saar that's unavailable through the AFCON, but I say they've got like 10 first team players out, so they are going to be, you know, weakened, as in a Premier League team is probably missing, you know, 10 players available out of 30. You know, they're still going to have a fairly decent strength of squad to come up to the game.
Obviously, they've got their new signing, Brennan Johnson. More than likely, he'll start for them. So we've all seen what he's been like before in the Premier League. He's quite quick, he's rapid. He knows where the goal is as well. For us at the back, would we see at home? I know we've seen a lot of the time at home at the back 4. Do you think that's what we'll do against a slightly weakened Palace say, right, okay, let's go back four and push on and do similar to a 4-4-2 of some description, or do you think we'll drop to a back five?
I'd like to see us go with a back four. However, a back three with wing backs, because you got to think. To me, you're going to play Mukiela, Ballard, and Alderete as the back three. Hume could play wing back / midfielder that he has been doing. Ronaldo or Sirkin could possibly do the same. And then in the middle, are you looking at obviously Xhaka? You're going to partner him with Hertrauda, and then go, Lafay, Robbie, and a Dingra / Mundle. Or goes as like a 3-4-3. You got to think Mayenda's been playing well as well. He's an option. Wilson's an option. We're starting to get those options back now.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing. I mean, we're not even mentioning the likes of Chris Rigg and stuff, which, personally, I think Chris Rigg's an absolutely fantastic footballer. I think next season we'll see more out of him. I think he's struggling with the physicality of the Premier League, to be honest. I think he's a bit lightweight still. I think it's a bit like that first year we had Job. He was getting knocked off the ball a lot, seemed to, lack the physicality to get by players, whereas he went away in the summer and came back a completely different player. And I think that's what Riggy needs to do. You've got to think he's a young lad still. We can't crucify him. So I think he just, a little bit more physicality in his game, but he's working on. I mean, I think in the last year he's, gained quite a few inches in height. He just needs to fill out a bit, which the club will be working on with the fitness team, obviously the dietitians and everything. It's something that they're looking at. So yeah, we've suddenly got choices again all over the pitch, and that is the main thing. I mean, he might choose to rest Schumann and play Mukiela as the right back.
True. It's going to be an interesting one. Kev, that's where I'll bring you in. I'll get your thoughts on who would you like to see starting up top to lead the line? Would you like to see Wilson come back in the fold? I know obviously at the minute it's been like sort of a Mayenda and Robbie situation. It's worked well. They've both linked well. Or would you like to say, right, we'll give Robbie Wilson a chance? Or say Wilson Mayenda?
I mean, for me, I think Wilson's a great shout to start. It's going to give him a good bit of run out. It's confidence hopefully back at home a little bit. And also, I think it's going to give Robbie a rest because I know he came off against Everton and Regista said, yes, he's fine. But is that he's fine for the sake of the media and actually he's not 100%? But, I don't think Mayenda's done anything wrong to be dropped. That's the problem we've got is all three strikers, so to speak, have got different bits about their game that you would want. Obviously, Robbie's got his physicality. Mayenda, I would say physicality and pace, and also just the sheer ability to kind of mix it up a bit. He does sort of be able to drift. And then Wilson with his pace, his height, and he is a good finisher. They've all got something about them. But yeah, for me, I would like to see Wilson start this one and then give Robbie or Mayenda the chance to kind of make a difference later on in the game.
Excellent. Perfect.
I mean, I got to jump back in there, Adam. I never even mentioned, like, in all of that, I never even mentioned '09. And, to be fair, he had a fantastic 120 minutes plus at Everton. You've got to think, not only did he play the full game, including the extra time, he went on to take the winning penalty as well. And he surprised me. He held his own against, Premier League, defenders or attackers, and stuff, and midfielders and stuff. He was composed. And yeah, so, I mean, is he going to miss out, or is he going to get a chance?
Yeah.
You got to think, I mean, you got to feel sorry for the lad. He's like, he's sort of like first, sort of like meaningful minutes in the Premier League was against Man City.
Yeah.
It's It's just one of those things. But yeah, I mean, he played really, really well against Everton. He's got to be in contention. Obviously, the club said he's not, or Labrisa said basically he's not going anywhere. Luke said he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and is it just his footballing? Obviously, he's come up from every division that was possible in England virtually.
Mhm.
He never had the easy way. He never started at, one of the top academies and made it into the first team that way, like a lot of the lads have done. He's had to do it the hard way.
Yeah. And hats off to him for
Yeah.
sticking the course, so to speak, isn't it?
But also as well, I think, when you hear the stuff, I mean, so I don't know if you caught Andy Sixsmith when he came out at the press conference today. He was saying about the mentality of the way that the Stadium of Light is now with the leadership groups and, changing the whole environment. And he mentioned Luke being part of that. He's obviously got his mind coaching thing as well as his football coaching thing that he's doing as well. He's obviously a very, very positive person to have around the stadium and to take us on to that next level. And I think, his mindset is something that's got to be admired. And also, we've got to embrace that because of what he's doing as well with the lads that are coming through and the lads that are in the team, the integration of the lads that brought in the summer.
I think that is the thing with Luke. It just, you can see it in him as well, just the way he addresses not just himself, shall we say, or the lads in general at the club. It's more how he addresses just like everybody. Like, so I believe, was it with Barnsley he did the interview with, where he's saying, I'm not going anywhere. Don't know what I've seen these rumours, but when I'm with my family, social media is deleted. When I'm back out, I'll open it back up. I'll see these rumours, but then I just don't pay attention to them. And I think that's what's, to me, I think that's smart from Luke to be able to put him to one side and go from there. So,
But look, you got to
yeah,
think as well. I mean, Luke's come up. He's been with us on the journey, joining us that first season in League One, and he's been through the hard times, and he's seen, the years in the sort of like wilderness. He's seen, what, 4 playoff campaigns. 2 of them successful now. And he's seen us getting ourselves established in the Premier League. His kids have been born up there.
Yeah.
He's obviously settled in the area. He's probably going to be in 10, 15 years' time, he's probably going to be Danny Collins that moved up and never moved away from the area and starts doing the comms for us.
Yeah.
If not, he'll get his his bus driving license so he can drive the lads to the away games and stuff.
Yeah.
He's going to be involved in the club and the area for probably the rest of his life.
I think that's the thing with him. He is the epitome of, said, as you mentioned that in regards to the Danny Collins aspect, the club's got under his skin. I know we've gone on a massive tangent instead of talking about Palace, but he is the one that you can see evidently the club has got under his skin. He lives and breathes our football club. Kev, you're his biggest fanboy. You'll have to tell us more about your thoughts on this. That, in your eyes, potentially can do no wrong, really, can he?
No, absolutely. I mean, look, he's got a mistake in him. Which player doesn't? I think, Robin put it really nicely in the fact that, yeah, the lad absolutely played out of his skin against Everton. And that penalty, we said it in the review, that penalty meant something. And yeah, I think three interviews now he's done after after press conferences, after matches, after training. And all 3 of them, he's basically said, I'm going nowhere. It was James Copley, Tweed Barnsley, and then today Andy Sixsmith. All 3 have spoken to him. And on all 3 occasions, he's turned around and gone, no, not happening. So, yeah, I think one of his interviews, I think it was the Barnsley one, he even said to Barnsley, they'll tell me to go, they'll offer me to go, I'll ignore them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll feature, and obviously Regis has said in not so many words that him and Luke both dream the same dream, want the same thing. There's probably a song there, but let's not go there. And that's what it is. They've both got the same vision, and I think Robin's right. I think Luke's probably one of those players that in 5 years' time, ish, will still be around the place in some way, shape, or form, and probably be coaching the unders or have something to do with the development side of the game for the players. Because you got to think his footballing journey is one that a lot of young kids go through. You play at an academy, mum, dad get the phone call, it's game over. Do you know what I mean? And he's a prime example of actually keep putting in the graft
This is
and
what you
anything can happen. But this isn't a Luke pod. Come on, we keep getting off on topic. We play
I was just
Palace
going to
on
say, actually, I
Saturday.
just got to add one more thing to it, lads. Is that he'll turn into Michael Proctor, and he'll be the interim boss every single time.
Yeah,
I'm here for that. But can we let's not talk about interim bosses because I don't want Regis to go ever. I see talk on social about him. You know, what if Deschamps leaves France? Would they go in for him? No, he's a Mackham now.
It was the fact being is, and Chelsea were looking for the manager. It was like, Regis is on this. Regis is going nowhere. Man United sacked their manager. Regis isn't. No, he's not.
Look, it's one of those things. He's going to get linked with every job that comes up as long as we keep going the way we're doing. I mean, you think if we go on to win the FA Cup possibly this season and finish in the European place or qualify for Europe either through the league or the cup or vice versa, whatever it is, people are going to be looking at him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. I might, by all means, if you want, I can request a Sky bet for the Real Madrid job. He hasn't appeared there yet, but you never know these in this day and age.
What I was going to just quickly mention, as we're off on randoms, have you seen who's ended up at Oxford as a part of the coaching staff?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Dodds.
I forgot.
Well, it'll be a nice.
He's going to see Sunderland.
He's trying.
I think the Real Madrid job's probably a bigger poison chalice than the Man United or the Chelsea job.
Yeah, true.
You know, I mean, you've got to think. I mean, that is pure player power because they're so-called superstars. You know, they just got no respect. I mean, I have no respect for someone like Xavi Alonso. It's just absolutely mental, self-centered behaviour.
Yeah, definitely. Come on, then. Let's summarize everything really on about the Palace game. We've completely went off on a tangent for this pod. So anybody listening, you've probably got about 10 minutes of Palace in this game, in this pod. But hey, where would we be without us being us? So lads, obviously it's back. We've already established it's back at home. We want to keep this momentum going of being undefeated at home. Fingers crossed we can do it. We're going to have everyone from minute one, as far as I'm aware, going to just chant everything, every slide tackle, even if we give a foul, our crowd, we're going to get behind it and just will the lads and try and pull that ball in the back of the net with our voices. That's all we need to do, really. Let's get some predictions and we'll draw it to a close there. Robin, I'll start with you first there, mate. What's your prediction?
I thought you might let Kev have a word first, to be honest, mate, because I've just been jumping in all the time. So
Kev's had too much to speak about tonight.
Feel free, mate.
Kev's had too much to speak about tonight.
No, I'm just enjoying you two getting back into the thick of it. And obviously, with the last few weeks with the dog, it's been kind of, I've taken a bit of a back seat, but I'll cut in with the prediction. Yeah, I'm thinking a 2-1. I think they'll score first, which I think will give them the confidence. But I do then think we'll get back into the swing of things. I think Regis will want to push the lads for home advantage. You know, we've said this so many times that stadium, like with the way we get behind the fans, hopefully everything's on our side. You know, the weather's good and the fans turn out in their numbers and they sing and they shout and they make the noise, which they should do and they normally do. Yeah, let's be honest. It should just be buzzing. It's a Saturday normal time kickoff. What's one of them?
Yeah,
makes a change.
With that in mind, obviously for me, this is Palace means something because obviously I went to Palace away and I got ill the next day, sort of thing, and obviously missed a lot of football. With that sort of like bit of a turgid 0-0. So I think they owe me something for this one. So I'm going to go old school De La Soul on this. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff, and I'm saying 3-0 at the lads.
Oh, makes a change from me saying it, doesn't it? No, for me, I'm some track mind to you yourself there, Robin. I do think we're going to keep a clean sheet. I think Roofs after that penalty shootout will be massively pumped up more than ever. So for me, I'm going to put it down as a 2-0 win. I think Wilson will get back in the swing of things, being back at home if he starts. And I think something like another Lafayette goal. I think after that volley, I think he's going to be massively up for it as well. So we can hope, and then obviously I'll be gloating around that my golden boy scored again. But hey, we'll wait and see. Other than that, lads, I think we've pretty much wrapped everything up. Obviously, there was a couple of one incoming today for the under-21s. Something Wilson. I can't remember how to pronounce his first name, so apologies. We'll just stick to Wilson because I know how to say that. And obviously we had somebody depart the under-21s as well on loan. And then obviously the news about Joe Anderson leaving on a permanent deal to Barrow, which I think is a very good move for him. And I think Barrow is a good club for the likes of Joe to go to, as it'll suit his football. But before Robin tries to cut me off and put this person's name in, thanks to everyone for listening in. It does mean a lot for you all listening. The comments, the listens in, the reviews and things like that is amazing. Kev, thanks for joining me, mate.
Yeah, pleasure as always. Yeah, I think, just quickly on the Anderson departure. Yeah, I think League Two might be a bit of a drop, but he hasn't played regular football in a few years, when you think of his injuries and stuff. So actually, sometimes you've got to go down the ladder to get back up it. I would have thought maybe a League One side would have gone in for him, but yeah, good luck to the lad. He's been with us a long time when you think about it.
Mm.
Yeah, I'll let Robin take over from here.
I was going to say, Robin's got the name.
No, I just want to say, the same thing with Joe. I mean, obviously, I do wish him well. Obviously, he didn't do great at Shrewsbury when he went there, and that he's been hampered with injuries and stuff like that. But yeah, look, good luck to the lad. Hopefully, he'll find a football home and he'll go on to have a good career. Look, Luke had some hardships, so he might, come good. And obviously, on behalf of myself and Tiziano Wilson, I think we shall say goodnight.
Thanks for that, Robin. I knew you would find it. No, it's a pleasure as always. And thank you to me for being here as well. And everybody else, we'll see you on the next one.